everyone, welcome back to my channel. As a future teacher, one of the daunting tasks as a newbie is to find and gather resources for my classroom. It takes a lot of work to analyze everything when preparing from scratch. So I wanted to create a video that would showcase some of the resources that I plan to use in my classroom. I hope this gives you insight and some ideas for how you would like to plan your own classroom. Many of these resources are free and some of you will have to purchase them, but it's all under $10. Everything that I show, I will explain their use and I will link it down below for you guys. Before I get started though, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So the first section is the beginning of the year sort of supplies. The first thing that I have for you is a back to school PowerPoint. This PowerPoint is super customizable for you and it's really creative and it really has a lot of slides to really help you when you're hosting a meet the parent night or meet the teacher night or open house kind of thing. I also have some open house forms that may interest you when you're getting to know your students and their parents. Everything that you want your students to be able to do, you have to actually teach them first. So I think it is important for you to kind of have that on hand. Making a list and having kind of like a checklist is important too. Again, you're not just teaching this to parents, you're also having to implement this with your students. I have a class handbook template. You can actually give this to parents if this is much easier for you to kind of explain to them what their experience will be like in your classroom. It does have some pages for when it implements school policy, like dress code and scheduling and that sort of thing. This is a cute activity for the beginning of the year for students to kind of get to know their peers. It's called Find a Friend Who. It's kind of like a little bingo game. I think it's really super cute and it'll just really get kids involved. I also like this alternative activity. Instead of asking every year what students did during the summer, I think it'd be really encouraging for kids to kind of create a not so true story about their summer vacation. It'll be really fun to kind of see what students kind of come up with. And this way, students who didn't really go anywhere won't feel so left out. Now for classroom management. This is a bulletin board kit. I really plan to use this at the beginning of the year to inspire classroom community. It's called This Is Us, and I just love how it says that we're kind of like a classroom family. These are some multicultural hand signals. They're completely edible, and I really like how they really speak to different diversities and are kind of inclusive. And the hand signals are great for building classroom management as well because a particular hand signal will mean something to each of your students. The idea behind the waiting room is that when you're doing an activity or maybe a student work, instead of having multiple students raise their hands and you trying to figure out which one to go to first, students just take a numbered clip and you will get to them in the order that they selected the clip. I have a missing homework and tracking sheet that I think is important for when you're trying to gather information as to who has their homework and who doesn't. I have I wish my teacher knew little postcards. This kind of goes along with my teacher mailbox that I'll be implementing in my classroom. This is completely free for you to use. Something else that I'll be implementing in my classroom management plan is that I will have class goals where my classroom will be collecting a certain number of crayons, and when they reach a certain number, they will be getting a class reward like crazy hair day or pajama day or movie day or something like that. I will also be doing a secret student. This is really cool and it kind of keeps students on their toes and kind of creates like mystery and kind of fun in your classroom. Basically, I'll be telling students that I'll be watching the secret student. I will just pick a random student to watch the entire day. And if they make good choices, they get a classroom coupon. If they don't, I just simply tell students that the secret student didn't. I will be watching again for another secret student. This is something that I actually made. It's called I'm Done Now What? I do have some blank um, cards if you want to write your own. I do recommend that when you print them out on cardstock and you laminate them, you use wet erase markers instead of dry erase because then they won't work as well. But again, I will link this down below if you're interested. I think it's important to kind of keep track as to who has unfinished work. So this poster will really come in handy for this. Ask three before me is a general rule of thumb to use when you can apply your waiting room or in general. It really encourages students to kind of be independent and kind of seek help from others before they get to you first. So bathroom tallies is an important one because this is where you can kind of track how and when they go to the bathroom themselves. As a class, I'm sure you'll be taking them to the bathroom before, after lunch, before and after recess, that sort of thing. But when they kind of go on their own, I think it's important to kind of keep track. That way, you're making sure that you're meeting their needs, and if they are having some concerns, you can kind of follow up with them. Um, so now we have some subject areas. The first is a free literature circles printables. This is great for when you're doing reading circles and you kind of give students a particular job so they're interactive with their book and their group. This is a free reading decoding strategy posters to kind of really help students kind of building on phonics skills that they have kind of learned, and it really has cute sayings that go along with each of them. I also have science of reading strategy posters. These are great for kind of building reading strategies within your classroom and to really make reading interactive. This homework weekly template has a space for spelling words and a reading log, so you can really personalize this and make it your own. I have math strategy posters called cubes. It really helps students to identify what they should be looking for when they encounter a math word problem, and this is free. I have a free our solar system kind of map and free map of the USA. This place value poster is going to go in my classroom to kind of teach students about place value, what they can expect, and kind of gives them an example as well. This is really super cute, and I cannot wait for this, and I cannot wait to see how it comes together. So for assessments, I have an assessment box, label, and template. This is a huge set that I highly recommend. It'll really help you to stay organized. It's completely edible, and I think it's going to be a fantastic item to use in my classroom. I also have some data sheets and student checklists. Again, important for you to have when it comes to tracking assessments and student data. I also have some progress monitoring data tracking sheets. These are completely free for you to use if you would like to customize this and kind of make it your own. So for the end of the year, I have an end of the year checklist. This is important to kind of help you get ready to kind of pack up all your supplies. You can even involve students with this if you want. But again, it just kind of helps you, especially if you're going to be a newbie first year teacher like me. We have a last week of the school classroom schedule. This is great because you can also send this out to parents as well to kind of keep them informed as to what's going to happen probably for the last week of school. This is an informational sheet for parents. It's called Avoid the Summer Slide Reading Bingo. Really encourages kids to keep reading throughout the summer and kind of informs parents on why students should keep reading even after school is out. This is a report card for the teacher. I think it's important to kind of get feedback from parents and students to see how you did overall throughout the school year and how you can kind of make a plan for next year. And last but not least, I have a letters to next year's student. This is a great tradition that your students can do every year. So at the end of the year, students can write to the next year's students, kind of giving them encouragement and tips on what they can expect from me and in the grade. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will link everything down below if you're interested that I mentioned. I do hope these resources provide a lot of help to kind of inspire you to get your best foot forward, especially when you implement ideas for your classroom. See everyone again soon. Bye, guys.